Gertrude Nabukera is the owner of a landing site here on the shore of Lake Victoria in Uganda.
Omulimu guno ogw'okuvuba nagutandika mu 1989. Natandika n'eryato limu ery'emikono. Tetwasangawo bantu, twasangawo nsiko, twasulanga bweru ne tusaawawo ne tutandika okuzimbawo ebibaawo mwe twasulanga.
Gertrude now owns over 90 boats and provides employment for hundreds of people here. The fisheries sector is particularly important to the country. While providing much-needed foreign exchange, the sector also provides employment to fishermen and to those who carry, transport and process the fish. And many locals are employed in sorting and sun-drying too.
Fishing industry employs more than 1.2 million Ugandans. But there are more than 10 million people who really eat fish or benefit from fish or fishing industry in one way or the other. So it is very important. The community and government both benefit.
Revenues arrive to local government through taxes paid by over 1,000 landing sites like Gertrude's in Uganda, helping to fund the operations of the district. And at the moment, business is going well for Gertrude. But she wasn't always so successful. In the late 1990s, a ban on fish exports from Lake Victoria devastated the Ugandan economy.
We lost the market in Europe, and regaining it was a tug of war. So we don't want to go back to that. So we had to go back to the drawing board. We had to look at the Codex.
The Codex Alimentarius is a set of internationally recognized standards, codes of practice and guidelines relating to food, food production, food safety and its trade. Celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2013, the Codex Alimentarius Commission was founded by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, and the World Health Organization, WHO.
It is important that during these celebrations we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring that food globally is safe for the people and that the value of food is maintained and that trade is handled in a fair manner.
After suffering a total ban, and in order to reach the export market again, the Ugandan fishery sector has had to implement nationally formulated regulations which are based on the Codex.
The standards are enforced right from the capture of fish, make sure the boats are clean, the fish is handled properly. At landing sites we have improved structures where fish is landed. We have potable water, see that it's used for cleaning the places where fish is handled.
Omutindo gw'ebyennyanja gwetaaga kwongera mu maaso kubanga era tukimanyi nti birina kuba biyonjo buli kimu tulina okuba nga tukitambuza bulungi ababiri abaleme bifunamu buzibu.
Here we have a landing site which is gazetted by the competent authority to handle fish and fishery products, and when fishermen reach here, the fish is transferred in the tubs in a hygienic manner to ensure that there's no contamination in the fishery products and the harbour waters. They do organoleptic assessment, and they also look at the temperatures. It's then allowed to move onto the weighing, and then it is put into the truck. But as you see this landing here, we also benchmarked it on the Codex Alimentarius Commission General Hygiene Practices. It is fenced off from all other activities, not to allow any cross-contamination. You see the landing site has got running water to ensure that the products are not contaminated, they are washed here. We're also seeing the landing site has got the hygiene facilities in place. There's a toilet in place, change room for the workers. So basically here, the emphasis is on the good hygiene practices, which is adopted from Codex.
Working with such a perishable product in a hot climate requires a cold chain, which means the fish can be transported safely from remote areas such as Bugala Island to processing factories in Entebbe.
And at factory level, we make sure they comply to the standards required, the temperatures, the handling places, and also the labeling to make sure it can be traced back to where it originated from.
Codex Alimentarius does actually give us all the guidelines for good practices. So it forms the basis of the prerequisite programs. So it gives us a good guideline for how do we operate in a hygienic and a food-safe manner. Furthermore, the Codex Alimentarius is internationally recognized system. So it enables us to export to any part of the world, and that is really the vocation of this industry, is to add value to the products, find the best markets, and export into those best markets.
Hello, how are you, Rita? I'm fine. How are you? Yeah?
Random fish samples are brought here to a government laboratory where they can be checked for safety.
As a country, we had one time unscrupulous use of chemicals in the fish industry. So we take samples for microbiological and pesticide residues. We also look further into the toxic heavy metals, specifically mercury, lead, and cadmium.
And all of these standards are paving the way for growth in other agricultural sectors too, as lessons learnt from the fishing industry are being examined for their potential application.
The successes we have had in the fisheries sector, we are now making efforts to translate them to the other food sectors like the crops, the fruit and vegetables, so that we also score similar successes.
Gertrude Nabukera understands better than most the importance of Codex standards. She has seen how the implementation of national standards revived the sector. And for Gertrude, maintaining those standards has proved to be very profitable. She has paid for the education of all of her 5 children, 3 of whom have graduated with business degrees and are now running their own poultry business here on the outskirts of Kampala.
Currently, we are producing 600 trays per day. Most of our customers come from Kenya, Juba, that is southern Sudan, and around here, Kampala. The idea of the poultry farm came up because we had the raw material, that is mukene, some small kind of fish from the parent business, Nakatiba learning site. And this is a major source of protein. It is so important that it takes up 70% of the chicken feed.
A market in protein-rich mukene is now also being developed for local consumption, thanks to lessons learned from the Codex Alimentarius.
Before this association was formed, people had a negative attitude towards mukene consumption. People knew mukene was food for the animals and indeed for the poor, because they did not have money for buying meat.
But now, the association members are applying hygienic standards, which in turn add value to their product.
People with the gloves, they do the sorting. After sorting, we leave it to dry. When the moisture is in the food and you pack it when it is there, it leads to development of molds on the food, which can be a health hazard. The aim of putting it on the racks is to avoid contaminations with other materials. The product is okay. Because of the hygienic standards, it is now food for the rich. In Uganda, those big supermarkets, in their shelves, you get there this deep-fried mukene, sun-dried mukene, and we know that those people who go to supermarkets, they are the rich ones. It has improved. People are no longer poor.
Not only have incomes increased, but the development of a domestic market is also allowing women to play an increasing role in the fisheries sector.
Before, the fishing business was only men, but now women, we have also get into the business. And after getting market for our product, it encourages the women to do more. We are now appear in so many places because our products majorly have labels. Everyone says, I want Chind women product, which Chind women product is the best. So socially, we have also captured the attention of the community.
As well as the improvements that come from income generation, there are important nutritional benefits also. According to FAO, fish and fish products provide Ugandans with 60% of their daily requirements of protein. So a thriving fishing industry is particularly valuable here. And having seen this success, many other sectors here in Uganda are now benefiting by working in partnership with the Codex Commission.
Codex has come a long way. We see the future of Codex trying to keep up with the demands of the consumer, with the demands of the environment, and with the demands of member states. The response for member governments to get value out of what Codex is doing will become very, very important. And not only to get value, but be able to act in a quick and fast manner in addressing the issues of food safety globally.